Well, hey, and thanks for joining me for another episode of the Full Frontal Living podcast. And today we are actually, I'm recording this short little intro, but today's episode is actually an excerpt from an Instagram story that I did that my team downloaded the audio for because it was a short but powerful conversation about leadership and how, my work is all about redefining leadership and what that actually means. So I wanted to record a quick little intro to give you some updates on what is going to be unfolding here in the future on the podcast. So if you are new to me, you may not know that every August, although that month may change next year, I take a sabbatical. As a leader, one of the most important things for me is making sure that I am managing my own energy and I am leading from within. And as you'll hear in this recording, we look at leadership as this outward facing thing, how we show up for other people. And I'm here to redefine that by showing you that powerful leadership is actually learning what it means to lead yourself and lead yourself with the same compassion and kindness and empathy, commitment and integrity as you do for other people, so that you can live this congruent life where how you're represented on the outside is congruent with how you are showing up for yourself on the inside, whether that's with your health, your relationship with your body, your relationship with your emotions, your relationships with other people. There's so many different aspects of this. And part of me being in my own leadership, which took me a long time to really step into my own leadership, is understanding that in order for me to be an effective leader, for me to do the things that I do, I need to step out of my business and step really into my life and give myself the space to be creative and have lots of time to just not be doing anything forward facing in my business. So I may be working on some things behind the scenes, but I'm not actually seeing any of my clients. And let's face it, the work that I do is incredibly important. I'm working with people who are doing big things in the world, and I'm not creating oxygen, and nobody's going to die if I take some time off. So if you look at yourself as a leader, how often do you deny yourself the time off, the space, the rest that you might need to really show up as your best, yet you would always make sure that other people had that? Where are you denying yourself that? So this is kind of where I'm going in terms of my messaging, which the truth is, this has been my messaging all along. What leadership actually is, that it is an internal conversation versus an external thing that you do. And how when you lead yourself better, you become a more powerful external leader as well, whatever that looks like. So what you're going to see in the next month while I am on sabbatical, my team is going to be repurposing some amazing episodes that perhaps got lost in the shuffle of the hundreds of episodes that I've been doing over the many, many years. I think my podcast started in 2019, I believe. I'd have to double check that. So we've produced hundreds and hundreds of episodes. We've had thousands and thousands of downloads. And as I'm growing and evolving and changing, and I'm no longer the same person that I was 10 years ago, hell, I'm not even the same person that I was a year ago. The podcast and my work is evolving with that as I step more and more into my leadership and really claim who I'm here to work with and how I'm here to work with them. So my team is going to be repurposing these amazing episodes. I'm not going to share what they are, but you're going to want to tune in for them. And then come September, you're going to start to see a whole new look and feel to this podcast, where the focus really is going to be on redefining leadership, and specifically, what leadership is, what this internal work is all about, the very important pieces that need to drop into place for you to step into your own self-leadership, for you to redefine what that is for yourself. So these are the things that are going to be coming up. And for some of you, it's going to resonate. And for some of you, it might not resonate in the same way anymore. And that's okay. I hope you stick around, because I'm going to still continue to tell you powerful stories to help you shift your perspective so that you can look at your own world and see the parallels and how you can see the world through a different lens, and thus, make changes to your own life. So in the meantime, I wanted to let you know about a few ways that we could connect and work together. First, of course, is my retreat in Whistler. That's running September 8th to 14th of 2024. At the time of this recording, we have one space left. You will have your own private room. There's no sharesies. We're not sleeping in bunk beds. This is a luxury retreat. We've flown in a private chef to take care of us. We've got lots of activities planned that encompass both the challenging ourselves to be uncomfortable while also blending in what it looks like to feel rested and nurtured and cared for, sinking into deeper levels of self-compassion, getting in touch with the emotional pieces that maybe might be hard for you to get in touch with, because most leaders really struggle with allowing themselves to be vulnerable, because more often than not, they're in such a position of responsibility for others. Being vulnerable doesn't feel safe, nor does it feel strong. So that's the first way. And I'll put the link in the show notes if you're interested in joining us. As I said, we've got one spot left. There are payment plans available. My team will be able to set that up for you. The second is I have single session bookings available. These sessions are 555, 555. If you want to do a one-off coaching session, I will put the link below and you will be able to book in my calendar and booking those into September, as well as signing. I've got space for 2 more long-term clients starting in September of 2024. We've got a whole host of new things coming out in the fall months, and I really look forward to serving you powerfully and helping you step into your leadership in a whole new way. So on that note, enjoy these amazing episodes that are going to be coming at you for the end of July here and into August, all through August. And I will catch you with our new look and feel in September. So much love to you. Enjoy your winter or enjoy your summer, depending on where you are in the world. Oh, final note, if you're listening to this, I am going to be in Australia, specifically Melbourne and the Gold Coast, starting in July 28th. I believe I'll be there until August 10th. Yeah, till August 10th. And I will be planning some meetups. So if you're interested in joining me in Melbourne, if you are looking for some one-to-one coaching, if you want to join a group that I'll be putting together for dinner, anyways, just send me an email. I will put the link in the show notes so that I can get you on the list, so that if you want to be part of a meetup, I would love to connect with you. I've got so many people who follow me from Australia and clients who work with me from Australia. I'm very blessed and grateful to be getting to meet so many of you in person. So if you are listening and that's where you are in the world, make sure you send me an email so I can get you on that list and you can be a part of whatever it is I plan. So on that note, have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy this excerpt from my Instagram Live. And if you are interested in following along on my adventures through August, make sure you are following me on Instagram, because stories is where I'm going to be sharing everything. That's the easiest place to have my energy. And it's going to be a really great time. I'm going to be, as I said, headed to Australia and then off to Tanzania on an African safari in Zanzibar. So it's going to be a great time, and I can't wait to share those moments with you. So until next time, I will catch you live again in September. Take very good care of you, and we'll talk soon. Health is such a important part of leadership, because how can you effectively lead others if your own vehicle is breaking down? It's so problematic. So you don't need to have perfect health. I'm not saying everybody needs this perfect health, but we do need to feel very capable in our own bodies. So let's talk about what leadership is, or what people think leadership is, versus how I am redefining leadership. So leadership, for the most part, is outward facing. This is how most people view leadership: leading their team, leading their family, leading a group of people to a desired outcome. And for the men and women that I work with, it's really taking leadership and turning it into an internal conversation. Because when you are better able to lead yourself, you actually get to live a much more extraordinary life. Your level of confidence and self-trust goes through the roof. And what I see, and this is where it becomes problematic, is so many of my leaders that I work with operate from this high level of integrity and commitment, yet they're not congruent with that inside themselves. So what does that mean? It means that they're leading others in a way that they're not leading themselves. And when we are in that space, that energy of not being congruent with ourselves, or a lot of people call it out of alignment with ourselves or out of integrity with ourselves, that creates a whole lot of resistance in our lives. And it can often mean that we get into this imposter syndrome. And what makes it worse is other people are looking at us thinking we've got our shit together, but inside ourselves, we're feeling like we are so far from having our shit together. And, when I'm working with my clients, I'm wanting them to feel as committed to themselves, as integral with themselves, and as compassionate with themselves as they are with the people that they care about, with the people that they're leading. That is really what self-leadership means, and mastering self-leadership. So in my own journey of mastering self-leadership, which I wouldn't even call myself a master, but this retreat is such a perfect example. It's taken me years to have the courage to put on a retreat, because there was so much imposter syndrome around it for me, and could I pull this off? And it feels expansive. Of course, it's a massive financial investment on the front end, especially the way that I do things. It took a lot of work on myself to step into being the person that can host a retreat for women coming in from around the world. So of course I can lead them, that's no problem. But I had to lead myself to that place of being able to actually even say yes to hosting this event. So although it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody else, it is also going to be a profound moment of growth and expansion for me. And I get to share that with all of these ladies. And that really, to me, is what leadership is about. It's, in learning to lead myself and having the courage to share that with other people openly, vulnerably. That creates better leaders in them, because all of a sudden they don't feel so alone around the thoughts they're having. So it really is profound when you put yourself in a room with other people who are doing amazing things in the world and are willing to show up as very, very real humans and allow themselves to be seen and heard by other people who truly understand. Because unless you are in leadership, you often don't realize how lonely it is for leaders. And when I say lonely, it's not that they're alone, because they're surrounded by people all the time. But when you are responsible for so many other things in your life, there is this belief that I don't get to be vulnerable. I don't get to have insecurities because people are counting on me. And there's so much of their identity tied up in being the responsible one. And it doesn't feel strong to step out of that role. But when you can do that, when you can allow yourself to be in rooms where you don't have to be responsible except for yourself, and when you can learn to lead yourself, which means you are being way more responsible for your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all of those things, man, powerful things happen. You start to live this truly congruent life, and you start creating extraordinary results. So on another video, I will talk about the struggle that so many of us have with actually claiming our leadership. That also took me years to acknowledge that I am a leader and that I lead leaders. Like, that was wildly uncomfortable for me to say. It's like I almost didn't want to see or really acknowledge the caliber of people that I was working with and the positions they were in, because I don't define people by what they do in the world. But when I really stepped back and looked at the people that I was supporting, I was like, holy shit. So that's really what I do. I'm a leader who leads other leaders into their own self-leadership and powerful self-management. So we'll talk more about what it looks like to be a leader, or to call yourself a leader.